let's see here. Hey, Crawl Spacers, what's going on? How is everybody? We're back for our July Friday Night Fight, and we have George. What's going on, sir?
Wow, has it been a month?
It has been a month. Let's check in with JR if he's still alive. JR, are you still with us? It's been a month.
Oh, well, I mean, it was, it's been such a busy month. I haven't even had time to change my shirt.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. People are kind of staying away from me for some reason. So,
Oh man.
I just assumed you're a hobo.
yeah. Hey, Adam Winchell, were these the books you were talking about, by the way?
What?
Adam Winchell was making a reference to a Vulture story because he was bringing up the Vulture stealing the Bugle payroll.
Oh,
I think
you mean
somebody
last month when we recorded that episode?
Last month, yes.
Jeez. Okay. So we're talking about ASM 95. We're in London for this one, George.
ASM 95.
The Beatle.
What?
Where's the Beatle?
This is the Beatle, Brad. This is 94.
Okay. Hold on. Let me get the previous issue. Sorry. I am looking at the text message you sent me. I apologize.
Yes, read the whole thing where underneath there I say ASM 75, meaning I meant that and not ASM 90.
We're doing 94, correct?
ASM 70. Yes, we're doing 94.
Got it. Sorry.
Yeah, we're doing 94.
We are really we're making shit up as JR does. There we go. I'm sorry. There we go. We are not in London. We're in the good US of A, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm about to say, boy, if that's the issue you want, that's going to take a while. I'm going to read it before we cover it.
All right, so we're tackling ASM 94. George, take me through this one, sir.
All right, so a lot of this issue, this is Stan Lee and John Romita and Sal Buscema. A lot of this issue is like a rehash. It's like, hey, in case you've just picked this book up for the first time, here's a brief history of Spider-Man. You know, covering high school and most of his, the high school and things like Betty and like the first villains he fought, etc. So this is all happening. Of course, we love to give context for things. This is all happening right as Peter's in another one of his funks. Like everything wrong in my life is Spider-Man's fault. Ooh, woe is me. I have all these incredible powers that make me almost like a god. Oh, my life is so rough.
Floating heads of guilt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he's kind of just wandering around his neighborhood aimlessly and doesn't notice Beetle flying over him. Now, this is old school Beetle. Yeah. Not Beetle with like the revamped armor later on, when he didn't have the stupid, suction things coming off his hands.
Right.
He finally graduated to things like, energy blasts and thing like that. And was all the more better for it. Because this was not
Tombstone's daughter.
No, this is not Tombstone's daughter. This is the original.
The original. Again, this is Romita inked by Buscema. Is that what it is?
I believe so.
Okay.
All it says is, by Stan Lee, John Romita, and Sal Buscema.
Yeah.
So, the only specific credit they give it is to Artie Simic.
Yeah.
For the lettering. That's it.
Yeah. So it looks great. Looks great.
Anyway, so Beetle is like, I'm lucky that kid into the house. He didn't see me. And the Beetle doesn't like interference. The old school Beetle not only looks like a jackass, but he speaks of himself in the third person.
Mm-hmm.
So he's across the street from a candy store. And he's like, they'll never suspect what I'm up to. And then he crashes through, uses his suction fingers to crash through the window of the candy store. And I'm like, you'll never suspect that they're thinking that you're breaking into a candy store? You're right. You did it in broad daylight.
He took him to the candy shop, huh?
Sure, Brad.
Took him to the candy.
And now Brad's going to use that as a theme song.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Oh, yeah. 50 Cent. Yeah.
So anyway, he leaves there, or no, he stays there, and then the cops actually come by.
Yeah,
and they see him inside, and so they're like, stop or we'll shoot or whatever. And Beetle's like, "Ha, you fools! I'm a supervillain." It's not what he says. I pulled a JR, but he uses his suction fingers to bring the wall down on top of them.
Yeah.
Almost like the Shocker would do, right?
Right.
Except the Shocker looks way cooler than this while doing it.
or
because
like a
because
John Mellencamp song.
because again, this is an unfortunate costume.
Yeah.
But he takes off. Manages to elude the police after bringing the wall down on them. Peter stumbles home, again feeling like a sad sack, sorry for himself. Maybe I need to be done with Spider-Man, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I do it, and the reason I kind of mock that, is because it's happened so many times.
It just happened in issue 50.
And it's just, you just get, you're like, after the 100th time you see it, you're like, maybe. Yeah. Can you come to grips with it already? Maybe.
Yeah.
But anyway, he gets home. He looks at the paper. He sees that the Beatle strikes again. Public alarmed. It doesn't. They kind of bury the lead in like, Beatle has sweet tooth. It's candy shop, right?
Yeah.
So Spider-Man's like, I just can't deal with this. I'm just gonna hit the sheets. I'm gonna go to bed. So Aunt May's like, oh, Peter, poor day. And Aunt Anna's over there too, hanging out with May. And Aunt May's like, you know what? I think I'm gonna make something for him, or she's like, oh no, look, he spends all his time studying, no one to look after him. I'm all out of milk randomly.
I'm all out of milk. I'm so lost without milk.
She's talking to Aunt Anna. She hits the fridge, and I'm thinking she's going to make him cookies, or she's going to make him wheat cakes or something. Probably cookies, because he's what is it now? He's like 19, 20 years old at this point in his career.
Yeah, he's in college.
Maybe around there, and he comes right in and goes to bed. She's thinking, number one, it's heroin, or he's got low blood sugar, right?
Yeah.
So she's hitting the fridge. She's all out of milk. I'll be right back, Anna. Milk is good for growing boys. I'm like, I think he's already hit his last growth spurt, Aunt May. Anyway, so while Aunt May heads to the grocery store, Peter's in bed having a nightmare of him fighting the Beetle, getting manhandled by the Beetle, right? Like just totally one-sided fight, getting his ass kicked by the Beetle. And then in his delirium, in his dream, he imagines that Aunt May is the Beetle trying to kill him. And so
you know what her name would be if Aunt May was the Beetle?
What? I'm going to regret asking this.
It would be Aunt B.
And so we'll have a special announcement tonight at the end of this Fight Club. I'm hanging it up. Adam's taking over.
Spider-Man versus Aunt B.
Oh, somebody else. I don't get paid nearly enough to handle these puns. I don't. I need hazard pay for this kind of crap. So yeah, Peter's having this nightmare of Aunt May being the Beetle.
Aunt B.
No, stop.
Wait a minute. Nintendo.
Let me finish this, because like in 30 seconds you're going to be like, we have 10 seconds.
No, Nintendo doesn't understand the joke. Let me explain. You combine the Aunt May and the Beetle, and you take the B of Beetle, put it with Aunt, and then you get an Aunt B Andy Griffith joke. Nintendo. He's probably not seen Andy Griffith. That's what.
Frances Xavier is.
There you go.
Rolling over in her grave.
Did you know that she and Andy Griffith had a big falling out?
Yeah, they didn't like each other.
They didn't. Yeah. They didn't get along very well on the set, and then they kind of reconciled before she died.
Yeah,
I read about that recently. I was like, oh my god, I did not know that, because she seemed so sweet on the show.
Oh man, she's a good actress, I'll tell you.
Well, it's unfair for us to lop that on her, because for all we know, Andy Griffith can be a colossal dick.
Yeah,
So
there were stories.
Yeah. So anyway. We're getting sidetracked. God bless. It's two old men trying to whistle, but their mouths are as dry as the Sahara Desert. Have you been eating sand?
I can't believe we did that. We've been working too long together.
You both failed to whistle at the same time.
Oh, Hornacek wants to do a poll. How many have ever seen an episode of the Andy Griffith Show?
Episode? Dude, I've seen seasons of the Andy Griffith Show.
I have too, man. I've seen the show, but I can't get past the opening credits, says Adam.
Neither can these two, Adam.
Oh my God! Go ahead.
Anyway.
Diabetic Spider-Man says that would make Peter Opie.
You take down the fishing pole and go out to the fishing
Oh my God!
hole.
You know the real lyrics? Oh wow!
Well, I mean, the analogy doesn't really work. Number one, Opie has a lot more confidence in himself, and number two, Opie had a father figure.
Oh, that's true.
Too soon. Anyway,
yeah.
Technically, Uncle Ben was his father figure. He had
60
one.
years too soon. Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's having this nightmare. He's screaming now. The Beatle, as Aunt Anna's trying to wake him up. She goes, "Yes, that's what I've been trying to tell you. Your aunt has been captured by the Beatle." And the news guy is on the TV saying, "Yes, they've identified the hostage as Mrs. May Parker. Aunt May goes to the grocery store that gets hit by the Beatle."
What are the odds? What are the odds?
And then finally you see the method to his madness. Beatle hit the candy store and then he hit the grocery store because he was looking for a business that was connected to the back of the bank vault. And then I'm like,
gotcha.
It all makes sense now.
Yep.
So Spider-Man gets there. There's the police have the thing cordoned off. There's a hostage inside, so that means they all have their guns aimed on the place. That's a joke. Now I'm getting my dry mouth from the two of you.
You try to whistle with that. Hornacek says that Harry is definitely Barney Fife.
Barney Fife, who pops a lot of pills. So Spider-Man's got to swing in to get Aunt May. The cops just start shooting at him.
Yeah.
He may be in league with the Beatle. Keep him from the grocery store at all costs. There's not even a halt in the name of the law.
No.
Or anything like that. Just nail him. It's like that video I saw this week, apparently in Arkansas. A state trooper or policeman was trying to pull over this woman who had sped past him. Legitimately, she was speeding. And so he hits the lights, telling her to pull over. And there's nowhere for her to pull over on the right side because the shoulder is too thin, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she puts on her signal light and is like, to signal that she's going to turn off, and she's just going straight so she can turn off, and not obstruct traffic. So the cop pits her.
Oof.
This is like a housewife with a kid in the car.
Oof.
And so there's a big lawsuit now, and I was reading about that this week. So Spidey should sue the cops here.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love the cops. I back the cops. I'm a pro cops kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I'm like, no, you can't just shoot at Spider-Man. There's still laws that you're bound to.
Yeah.
But they know that Spider-Man always tries to take more than 10 items in the 10 item or less line, and they're sick of it.
And that's it. There's been a sting operation going on to catch Spider-Man doing this. You know who loves Spider-Man? The cops don't like him, but know who does?
The readers.
The fire department. Fire departments always like Spider-Man.
Oh, even in Amazing Spider-Man 2, remember he had the giant hose taking Electro out with the big hat? Yeah.
Yep.
That was cool.
So anyway, I know we've only got 30 seconds left. I'm trying to speed up.
We have 15 minutes.
So Spider-Man gets to the roof, manages. He probably gets to the roof, probably looking around, trying to find an entrance or something. But as he gets to the roof, Beetle holding Aunt May, who he's already told, he's like, "Look, listen, you're my ticket out of here." Right. And so he's got her, not unlike Dr. Octopus and again in Spider-Man 2.
Right.
When Doc Ock robbed a bank, although technically the Beetle's robbing a bank, he's just doing it sort of in a reverse,
right.
Reverse.
He's picking
order.
up some bread and milk and some money. Yeah.
Yeah. So Beetle comes out, the actual guy who's taken a hostage, right? He's swinging out, and the cop's like, "Hold your fire, man. He's got the woman." And I'm like, "Oh, you just literally tried to kill Spider-Man a minute ago, right?" Anyway, I'll keep going. I'm talking to myself. All right. So Spider-Man's like, it wasn't the grocery after all. He's making his getaway. He's got Aunt May. So he does some quick thinking because he knows there's a strain on Aunt May's heart. He doesn't want Aunt May to have a heart attack at any moment. So he devises a plan to spin a webbing between a few buildings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And find some way to convince the Beetle to let go of Aunt May so she falls into the webbing. So you have on one page, Spider-Man's like, oh, she's got a weak heart. I know how to save her. I'll make her fall like 20 or 30 feet. That's the way to go. Anyway, but it works out. He manages to catch Aunt May. They land in the net. She's safe. And all the while he's telling her, trust me, you're going to be safe. And she's like, safe with you. You're horrible. Because she hates Spider-Man at this time in history. So once Aunt May is safe, Spider-Man engages the Beetle, swings up, kicks him real hard.
Yeah, look at that hit. Ooh.
Yeah, kicks him so hard it looks like he's dropping the money out of his suction cupped hand.
Mm-hmm.
But Beetle, swings that huge, heavy suction cupped hand, which probably weighs like 25 pounds, with how much rubber's on there, and actually manages to knock Spidey away. So Spider-Man. As he's flying away after Beetle hits him back, swats him back, he webs Beetle's legs and sends them both tumbling through like a glass ceiling into like I guess it's like a private indoor pool or a gym or something, right? I mean, there's glass everywhere.
Indoor rooftop swimming pool, it says, yeah.
And you've got a gal with one of those swim caps on, or those like shower cap things on,
look at that. Look at that. Oh,
I know, right? I know.
She could be a superhero with that hat.
I mean, she could, right? Yeah. So yeah, they land on the ground, and Beetle is now using his suction cups things, which expand. He's trying to hit Spider-Man with them. Spider-Man's dodging them. He manages to start, finally getting Spider-Man off his feet with these things, because Spider-Man's dodging them, but these things can stretch. They can do all kinds of things. They're almost like Dr. Octopus's tentacles right here.
Yeah, true.
Or Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah. Stretch Armstrong, yeah. And then so Spider, he finally grapples Spider-Man with him and starting to swing him around a little bit, but Spider-Man reverses it and throws him into the pool and says, because he's talking about his metal wings, because there's metal wings on the suit, it's how Beetle flies. And he's like, there's only one thing I know. I know how heavy those metal wings are. I know that while you're wearing them, you can't stay afloat. So once again, we have a Spider-Man villain, much like Stegron, getting defeated by water. So yeah, Beetle just goes into the water, and apparently, I mean, it makes sense. If you've got an armored, quasi-armored, it wasn't as armored as his next suit would be. The superior suit, the much better suit.
You see the taunting that Spider-Man's giving him? Quit the whimpering, you waterlogged weasel.
Yeah. I mean, he's going pretty savage on him. Well, savage for, what is this, 69?
Yeah.
67? Anyway. So yeah, dumps in the pool. And yeah, if you're underwater and wings are how you're going to move around, there's no lift.
Yep.
There's no lift underwater. Your wings are worthless. He's right in that regard. But I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, he's got these suction cup hands. How come he doesn't just like shoot him up out of the water and pull himself out that way? Right? Marvel needed me so bad back in the day. They needed me to be there with the artist in the bullpen and the artist is like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, no, because of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to be like, dude, you're thinking about this too much. It's just a comic book.
And you only got a couple pages left. We got to wrap this fight up.
Yeah.
That's what the editor would say, probably.
And only 9 minutes.
Yeah. I'm trying to get to the clock. All right. So Spider-Man pulls him up out of the pool, webs him up for the cops to get there. Cops don't try to murder him this time.
Oh, good.
Yeah. But the Beetle, though, is thinking this whole time while he's webbed up, and he's like, I don't get it. I fought him before, yet this time he battled with such fury, such hatred. But why? What made him so vengeful?
We know why. It was Aunt May.
And I'm like, yeah, at the same time, though, was he really vengeful? I mean, we've seen Spider-Man like really mad.
Yeah, he's not going after the Kingpin, grabbing him by the skin.
Yeah. We've seen Peter Parker mad. This isn't necessarily it. So, strap in, Beetle. If you think this is mad, just wait.
Yeah, kill Aunt May and we'll see when he's mad.
Yeah. But then Spider-Man and Aunt May are reunited, and then they walk home together. So, Peter winds up with the girl in the end.
Well, there you go.
Decision Spider-Man.
Decision Spider-Man. I don't disagree with you on this one at all.
Good, because you were wrong the last month.
I think we started a thing in the chat. Everyone's wanting to know. They're talking about Andy Griffith movies. They want to know if we ever saw the movie Gramps, where he played an evil grandfather. No. I have not. I can't see Andy Griffith as mean, man.
There was actually a pretty good. I didn't see Gramps, but there was a pretty good movie with Johnny Cash called Murder in Coweta County, where Andy Griffith was an evil landowner in like the 30s or whatever, and killed a guy, and Johnny Cash relentlessly pursued him.
He shot somebody in what was that cowboy parody movie with Tom Berenger?
Oh no. Adam says that would be
Rustler's Rhapsody.
Yes, Rustler's Rhapsody. He shot somebody in that towards the end. Back he was I think a cattle rancher, and like his daughter was Celia Ward.
Yeah, he's played a bunch of bad guys.
Spider-Man in London would make a great spider history episode. There you go. Hornacek says the suction cups can't work down in water. Sure, that's it. Nintendo says, I think the way Spider-Man defeats Beetle in the issue is the inspiration behind Electro's defeat in Spectacular Spider-Man Episode 2. I don't remember that episode. Was it in a fight? Was it in a pool? I don't think these two guys know. But anyone here read the issue of Beetle capturing Daredevil away from New York and selling him in an auction? I have not read that one. How in the world does the Beetle fly with those giant wings?
I'd assume there's more to it than just the wings.
Yeah.
Like there's probably some sort of device on the back that may like generate a localized field that allows them to actually get a little more lift or something like that with the wings. At least that's how I think the second set works.
Well, that's how the Vulture does it. The Vulture,
that's how the Vulture does it. Yeah,
has an electromagnetic pack or something,
Yeah, back then it was all magnets. It was all ball bearings.
Adam says May would have had a heart attack during all of this. So.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're worried about your aunt dying from a heart attack and you're trying to save her from a supervillain, having her fall like 20 or so feet probably not the way to go.
Hornacek says, at this point, don't the cops think that Spider-Man killed Captain Stacy? Or was he involved in the death? There you go. That might be why they're shooting at him.
That doesn't happen till later, does it?
No, actually, it happened back in issue 90.
Did it?
90.
This is
5 issues after, yeah.
Okay. Maybe that, yeah. Well, that would explain why the cops are trying to murder him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
They're talking about issue 95. Spider-Man goes to London next issue, and there's no mention of Jill Stacy and her brother, who Howard Mackie invented.
Thankfully.
Yeah. And Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't know what that meant.
I remember back in the day, like when Mackie brought around Jill Stacy, I remember on different internet message boards, every now and then you'd find that one person that was like, man, I really like Jill Stacy. And you're like, why are you like this? What happened to you in your life that you're like this?
I didn't think that was that bad. It was executed poorly. I also think Jessica Carradine had potential, the burglar's daughter. Just nothing was done with either one of them that I thought was worth anything. But alas, I mean, Gwen Stacy has family. She's got 2 kids. All right. Any other thoughts, George?
No, I've been waiting for you to end it again already. So because I figured you would be happy. I got it in under. You
did
under the deadline.
We will be back in just a few minutes, and we will start Spider History.